How's it hang, everybody? Welcome back to Tag Team, the Pokemon Trading Card Game's premier podcasting trio. My name is Riley Hulbert, joined, as always, by my good friends, Mr. Andrew Mahone and Mr. JW Kriewall. Boys, how are we doing today?
Oh, we're hanging loose, Riley. Thanks for asking. Had a nice weekend. It's been about a year since my last Cube video, so I forgot how much work it was and filmed another Cube video on Saturday. So I'm very thrilled about that. It'll probably take me a while to edit, but this one's going to be different than the last one I did in that I think like the format that I'm kind of doing it in is much more interesting. So I'm stoked about that. Stoked to get into the lab, start working on that. Also got to release a video on kind of the story behind Pokemon's expanded format today, which was a lot of fun to make. Just kind of reminiscing about the whole thing that was expanded in the Pokemon TCG, because like that was a whole arc, which is like done now. I mean, more or less, like seems like it's just gonna kind of fade into nothingness over the course of the next 5 years, as it has already started to do so over the previous 5 years. So that was kind of fun to look back on recently. And of course, the Ravens found a new way to lose. They're winning into the playoffs. So, shaking that off. It was always nice.
Some ups, some downs, it sounds like.
Yeah,
my friend
for sure.
My friend at work is a Steelers fan, and he was telling me about how the Steelers are also trying hard to lose that game, but the Ravens tried a little harder. So,
and the Ravens won. In that sense.
That's right. In that sense, indeed. I did enjoy the expanded video, though. I caught that like right when it dropped. So, very good stuff. I'd love to talk more about that.
He's got the bell. He's got the
bell. Gotta click the notification bell. Click the notification bell, folks. Just like you should if you're watching on YouTube right now for the podcast.
100%.
Yeah. Seamless plug. GW, what you been up to?
Dude, I had a rare date day. My wife and I, the day after New Year's, so January 2nd, we went into the city and caught an off-Broadway show of...
Okay, what'd you see?
We saw the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. For musical heads, you may know this. They're doing a revival of the shows. Originally like premiered on Broadway about 20 years ago, and so they're bringing it back, and it was pretty good. Yeah, had a good time. It's about a middle school spelling bee and all the like family trauma that comes with that, essentially. And there's a little
naturally,
middle school romance and such, and some improv too, which is kind of fun. So anyway, really unique show. And then we went out for some food, went to a nice Japanese restaurant. It's just like very rare. My wife had the day off, and then I took the day off, and then we're still paying a nanny. So it's like, let's just take this day and leave the kids with a nanny, go into New York City, and make a day out of it. So had the chance to do that. And let's see, what else? Oh, and then the like crowning achievement of going into New York City was I bought a $500 Pokemon lot off of a kid in New York City. Like him and his mom, he's trying to get into baseball, so he's like selling all his Pokemon cards and all his memorabilia and merchandise. So we had this whole heist set up to like my brother-in-law drove the car back home after our New Year's hangout, and then we took the train into the city, and then we met him over in Stuytown and picked up the card lot and then drove it back home. It was a whole thing, because the woman was like, yeah, this is definitely not going to be able to go on the train. So anyway, now I just have a bunch of random Pokemon crap in my house from this.
Have you like looked through it at all? Like,
I have looked through the cards. I did make, I did film it. So I will be releasing a video on that. So I mean, it's just interesting stuff. It's predominantly, a lot of bulk in there, but it's some kid's whole collection, so kind of fun.
Very fun.
Dude,
Very
that's
fun.
crazy that you just bought a kid's collection, because we just bought a kid's collection this past weekend as well off of Facebook Marketplace.
Really?
Like, yes. It was listed for $60, right? And I'm like, I usually don't fall for like the Pokemon.
I know,
lot
you have to be
bait,
really careful. Yeah.
because like, dude, everybody these days is like, I know what I have, no low balls, like
Yes.
yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like this one, there's something about the pictures. I was like, this is authentically just some kid trying to get rid of his old cards from like, and it's something about the era of the cards. There were a lot of like black and white XY stuff.
Mm.
And I was like, this is a kid who collected years ago, somehow didn't off it during like the first 2 hype cycles, and is now like refound his cards and is looking to move on to something else.
Yeah.
So I like messaged him immediately. I was like, oh yeah, $60. Like I'm there. Like just whatever. You could tell like behind one of the cards, you could see like the edge of a full art Bianca. That was it. You could see
Dude. Yeah.
You could see like
you gotta
back corner.
try for it. Yep.
You could see the back corner. You had to zoom in, and I had to have a very specific card knowledge to know that was a full art Bianca. But I could tell. I was like, that is a full art Bianca. Okay, and so I was like, yeah, I'm in, right? And this was the day I was going out to film the Cube video. So like, I told Natalie, I was like, listen, like, I don't know if this is gonna go anywhere, but like, keep tabs on this. Message this guy, see if you can negotiate. And she's like texting me throughout the day, and she's like, oh yeah, he's saying he's got other offers for like 100, 140. And Natalie's like, I shot him 150, told him that's as high as I'll go. And so he ended up taking 150.
I usually
and Natalie
do
went
like
and got it.
Okay, I usually do like, all right, I'll do X amount cash, I'll pick up today. That's my
that's a
my
power
way.
move though.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you just get
Yes, but
then
he
it's done with.
said is like, I've got an offer right here for 140, and so like, if you like, so I'm just gonna go do that.
Yeah.
And so Natalie's like, I got you 150, and he was like, okay. So she met with him, and it was just like, she said he was probably like 19, going away to college or something, and was like just off in his like childhood stuff.
Yeah.
Just to like, move on to different things in a different place in his life, right? And yeah, so like for us, like we know how to pick apart that collection. And it was cool, like getting to see like this is like someone's personal collection, right? Like getting to see kind of the cards that they had. A lot of them were worn. Like Bianca was like heavy play, but we still, we sold it already for like, I don't know, like 120, 130. So like we cover almost the whole lot just with the Bianca.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like everything else is just, there are cards that we'll keep for our personal collection, like expanded Gym Leader Challenge cards, stuff for our retro decks. There's a lot of like trainers mails, versus seekers, stuff like that.
Nice.
Just some nice wins in there. But then there's like a lot of, random GXs, EXs and stuff like that, which you can kind of just like sell out as well. So like the idea is like we'll end up getting some cool cards for our own personal collection, and then like plus on the lot. We'll probably plus on the lot after doing all the work to sell it. We'll probably plus like $50 on the lot. But then like the win is like also
you get all
getting
the cards
the
for
free cards,
Yeah.
plus $50. It's a good win
and-
for the kid because he got a good deal for it. So just everyone feels good all around. So
Yep. And
Nice.
content for the podcast. So solid stuff.
And
for
content
sure.
for the podcast. It's a solid couple minutes there, guys.
Yep, absolutely.
Good work. Good work, boys.
Riley, how about you, bro? How about you? How was your New Year's?
Actually, I got up to more. Now I'm thinking about it, I got up to more than maybe I thought precast. So I did see a movie on New Year's. I ended up going with Avatar. I saw it on IMAX.
Not Marty Supreme.
IMAX 3D. Well, there's a twist. So I did see Avatar, and
You went into the wrong theater.
Avatar was a lot of fun. What's that?
Oh, nothing.
No, I actually saw Avatar.
Let him tell the story.
I actually saw Avatar. It was a lot of fun. I think of the 3 Avatar movies, it's probably my favorite of the 3.
That's
It is
high
a very
praise.
long movie. It's
That
over
is high
3
praise.
hours long. It's
Uh-huh.
over 3 hours long. Actually, I wasn't a huge fan of the first Avatar, and I felt like the second Avatar was just the first Avatar again. So
The first
This one
Avatar
went a
was
little bit-
amazing, bro.
the first Avatar was Dances with Wolves, but it looked really nice.
Yeah, my mind
The
was
first Avatar
blown
is
with
literally
the
the
first
story
Avatar.
of Pocahontas.
It was
It's
the
it's-
story of
there's a bunch
Pocahontas.
of different versions of that story, but it was visually amazing and
Yeah.
like way ahead of its time
Yeah.
for sure.
I can't
but
believe
that was
you
like the
guys
whole
like Avatar.
allure.
What are you
I'm
talking?
saying that was the whole
Bro's
allure of
never seen
Avatar was that it
Avatar
looked good.
in the theaters.
Yeah, Avatar is definitely a theater movie.
Yeah.
It is a theater
I
movie.
literally did see Avatar in the theater like everybody else when it came out. Okay,
And you didn't.
There are some
think it
serious
was-
Avatar fans out there. I'm like not even
Titanic
kidding.
is better. It's James Cameron's
They're just very different movies.
best
They're
movie.
not even comparable.
Well, they're both by James Cameron, and Titanic is
One's
better.
like an action sci-fi movie, and another
Yeah,
is like
well.
a romantic movie.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
Okay,
all
the
kinds of
common
bullshit.
theme is that they're both extremely over the top.
Hmm.
And
Anyway, Avatar 3 was really
Was
entertaining.
Titanic
though.
over
It
the
actually was
top?
entertaining.
Okay. Anyway. Okay. Sorry, we're stealing your thunder, Riley.
You're
carry on.
fine. You're. I'm trying to think about Titanic now, but yeah, Avatar 3 was a lot of fun. I would actually recommend it. It is over 3 hours, and it was one of those movies where like it felt like it did feel like it was a long movie, but I wasn't like antsy for it to be over. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I've seen long movies where I'm like, oh my god, can this just please be done? Like this, I hate this.
Yeah.
Like the first time I saw the Hobbit movies in theaters, I was like that for all 3 of them. They were all too long.
Yep.
And I was really antsy for them to be over. But this movie was entertaining. And then on Saturday, I didn't really have anything to do because my fiance wasn't getting in until Saturday night. So I was like, you know what? I'll see Marty Supreme as well. And then, so I also saw Marty Supreme. And that was also really good. It was a very different movie experience, but it was good. I see kind of what you're saying, Andrew, about the parallels to like Pokemon player grind set for sure. Though hopefully no Pokemon players end up in quite the same situations that Marty does. I hope. But very entertaining movie. Very well done. You can see, after seeing it, I can see like why Timothée Chalamet was like so hype on it and like his performance in it because it was really entertaining and really good. Let's see. On Sunday, I kind of played Homesteader. So when Jill got back, she was sick after her vacation. So I made homemade bread, homemade butter, and then for dessert, we had hot chocolate that I homemade as well, which was all very yummy.
Wow.
So that was fun. And now we're here. Yeah. So actually did get up to a decent amount the last few days. And every other waking moment that wasn't spent on work or those things was either spent playing Earthbound on my Switch or playing TCG Masters and fish bowling against myself in Gardevoir matchups, primarily
God, you're
Gholdengo.
such a beast. You're such a beast for that, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So I can't wait to talk a little bit more about that. But cool. Sounds like we all had a pretty eventful week. Gotta say. I have a fun weekend coming up for those that have not been listening to the cast for the past 3 weeks. I have the Azuki Invitational this weekend on Sunday. So I know that the Flex Army is going to be cheering me on from
Flex
the
children.
comfort. Yeah, the Flex children are going to be cheering me on from the comforts of their own home. And I hope to bring back the 10K 64-player Invitational Crown. My wife and I have been grinding. We are like metagaming each other with how much we're grinding. One fun thing about Azuki, and maybe this is like common to other card games, because from what I understand, this is parallel to like One Piece. I think the game's designer is a big One Piece player, so I think there's a lot of inspiration. This game has like no draw in it. And it's like really hard for me to wrap my mind around it as a Pokemon player. And like maybe that's just like all other card games.
Is it just search based or like play out of your hand?
No, there is no search either. And so again, it's set 1, right? So presumably there will be more mechanics, but there's like one card that I'm aware of that increases the size of your hand. And it comes at a pretty major cost. You have to it's basically a creature that you play that you have to kill. So you don't advance your board, but you get to draw 3 cards and discard 2. It's like one of those, right? There are some cards where it's draw 1, discard 1, or draw 2, discard 2. There's one card that I know of that's draw 3, discard 2. So that's actually a plus to your hand size, but again, at a pretty steep cost. So I'm really trying to wrap my mind around a game that, you may see in a full game, 12, 13 cards total from your deck. So anyway,
have you ever played Magic?
We've been grinding. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? It's like Pokemon. I guess I'm so used to Pokemon.
So but if you've ever played Magic, then that's not a surprise to you, because Magic has no draw. I mean, there's some draw, but not nearly as much compared to Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
And if you're saying then One Piece also doesn't have a lot of draw, I mean, that's just what Pokemon's thing is that you see the whole deck.
Which I really like. It's why am I playing these cards if I'm never going to have a chance to see it,
not normal, bro.
Yeah, I guess
a lot
not.
of card games are more. They might have some tutoring, but they typically don't draw a lot of cards. Drawing cards is usually very broken in card games.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. Pokemon player plays another card game for the first time, and that's breaking me down. Because I'm what am I supposed to? I'm what am I supposed to do? My hand. Well, I thought I had a broken deck. Okay, so my wife and I have been grinding Lightning.
Week, I remember.
my wife and I have been grinding Lightning and Earth, and I thought Earth was absolutely insane. Okay, so there's a card in the Earth deck that it has this. I forget. It's basically an ability, and it says it can't be removed from play. So
okay.
So if if it was a Pokemon,
Ancient
imagine.
trait.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not even that, right? An ancient trait Pokemon can be knocked out. This thing can't be removed from the field from day. So imagine my parallel would be imagine it was a Charizard EX, except you couldn't ever knock out the Charizard EX. That's kind of the power level that we're talking. It's kind of a late game attacker. It comes out, it ramps on turn 8, but there are ways to get it out a little bit sooner. But you just can't ever remove it from the field. And then I'm oh my gosh, this is an insane card because you're doing 7.
Tebfea.
Yeah, Tebfea, exactly. Riley.
Yeah.
And I'm wow,
Dang,
this card is
up.
crazy. And then I'm I'm just smacking my wife with it. And I'm getting to this 8 cost, and I'm throwing it down, and she has no counter to it. And then we're well, let's look through card pool again, because I think Lightning is supposed to be this super aggressive deck. And that's the other one. Apparently Lightning is the deck right now. It's basically the haymaker of this format, where it's just you go super fast. You're trying to win the game by turn 4 or 5, or at least have, put on so much pressure by that point that it's impossible for your opponent to overcome. You have a lot of.
You should be playing red, bro. You should be playing red.
I agree. For early tournaments, you got to be playing low on the curve.
Play red. Yes.
What's red? Is that
red? Red is Lightning.
Yeah,
red
is
is
lightning.
lightning.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
mono red decks in Magic are aggressive. They get under you before you set up your combo.
Yes. Yes. But
that's what a red deck is.
I still believe in the power of the Earth deck.
That's gonna be your demise for sure.
Yeah,
Turn
but
8
imagine
seems so late.
Well, okay,
Everybody
but that's my
everybody
thought.
knows that the high cost cards are not good, bro.
No, but there are ways with the Earth deck to get them out faster, dude. That's what I'm saying. You could TM Evo your 8 cost out.
You're falling into the classic trap, bro. It's got way too high of a cost. The reason it costs so much is because it's broken.
So here's
Not
my
consistent
thought.
enough.
Here's my thought. Okay, because I was I'm in one Discord. Okay, that's a Nozuki Discord, right? And I'm trying to scout out what other people are playing, because there are no published results. No one is sharing deck lists. There is,
Of course,
like
not.
I talked about, there's one gameplay video that I've watched, 10 times now. And it only features the starter decks. So it's not even souped up versions of the actual decks, right? And so I'm trying to figure out what people are thinking. And apparently the creator of the game thinks that Earth is like low key kind of broken. So now I'm just trying to channel what the creator thinks and trying to get, in tune with how they think the game should be played.
The creators don't always know though. Like things can definitely slip past their radars for sure.
Okay, so you guys think I should just play Lightning and be done with it?
What is the TM Evo card? What is cheating out?
So you have so it's instead of attaching energy to your creatures, you get like a mana pool, right? And it's like Hearthstone or something, right? 1 per turn. It's cumulative, and then at the start of your turn, it all untaps, so you can tap it all and play your guys.
That's Magic.
So
that's
no, Magic. No, that's not Magic because you have to play it from
distinctly
hand.
different because you have to play the mana.
Yeah, you have to play the mana.
The new thing in card games is that you just accrue it. Like,
so you don't get mana cucked. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
you don't get flooded or dry. Right. That's how people have fixed the Magic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
which is why your game doesn't have any draw power, because you don't need to draw into your mana.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Because you make a good point.
Yeah.
Combo decks are pretty broken if they have draw power with no mana cards. So you just draw your full combo every game.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So anyway, there's this one card. It like adds another mana to, like, it's I guess a ramp deck, right? You've heard of ramp deck, I think, in Magic. It like adds another mana or adds another.
Where is it? What card?
It's called Warding Totem. Warding Totem.
Ah, yes, Warding Totem. Yes.
And so, and the other cool thing about that guy is that it has an ability that basically you can like.
But he's a 4.
Redirect. Yeah. So all you have to do is survive until you get to like 3, 4. There's another card. It's a spell. It's I forget. It's like, it looks like a book. It's also an earth. It's an earth spell. And that one's kind of cool because it's a spell. You can draw a card or you can add another mana to your pool. So I'm like, okay, if I can play that on turn 3. And then I can get out the Warding Totem, a turn early. I just ramp up all the way to 8. No problem. But now where I'm at is that I don't think the 8 is actually the best card. I think there's a 7 cost that might be better because it has Taunt.
Stone Mast.
Yes. I think this one might be better because it has 6 health and it has Taunt. And I'm like, okay, maybe this one is actually the card because then it can deflect damage from, my leader. You have like 1 source of health. And if that drops to 0, then you lose no matter what's on your field, right? It's not like, if you have no more Pokemon, you lose. It's when your leader drops to 0 health. So my thought is maybe I take that 7 cost and I'm like redirecting damage because it's kind of hard to get up to 6 in a single swing. You have to have multiple characters by and large to get to 6 in any one turn. So it's like maybe that's better, and it also comes out earlier. So I'm trying to see if there's something there. Anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely deep in the weeds, that's for sure.
I'm in it. I haven't even touched the other 2 decks, so like when I get there and I play a blue or a fire deck, like I'm just going to have no idea what those things do. I'm going to have to read all those cards, but I think I'm pretty sold on the Lightning and Earth deck. Those seem to be the creme de la creme of this new game.
Yeah, I mean, some cards are going to inevitably be better, right? It's just...
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So that's the latest installment into the Azuki arc. Let's get into some of the International's exclusive Pokemon merchandise revealed. Guys, we have some exclusive merch for EUIC. I don't think either of you two are going, but I will pick up whatever you want, so long as I don't have to stand in line for more than, 30 minutes. I think that's fair. What do we think of some of this merch? Got a nice little Pikachu holding a card holder. It's very interesting.
It's like their new thing is the like plush card display thing.
I don't mind it. I just wish it was like better quality,
I mean, it's a fine quality plush. I just feel like it's not going to stand up that well.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then here's the competitor kit. The LAIC featured Venusaur. This one features the Charizard. So pretty nice pre-evolution and then into the Mega Charizard.
I'm gonna
Why?
I'm gonna push back on all this merch. This is
pushing.
necessary. Do we need
Yeah, I mean
all this merch?
You do. No, you do because
we don't.
These events are the World Championships for people. Right? They've made the World Championships accessible for everyone.
Yeah, we have kind of established that these are like the new World Championships.
No, but they're merching out regionals now too, man.
The regionals merch.
They are merching out the regionals.
The regionals merch. I think we're all in agreement that we
bro.
And
then there's too much Worlds crap too. There's too much crap.
There is a little too much crap. I kind of
There's
agree.
too much crap is the thing. Like, give me like
But that's just true. Like
nice
for
t-shirt.
Everything in the world, right? Like there's just too much
crap
nice
in the world.
T-shirt.
Give me, and that's part of what I'm saying. Is too much crap in the world. It's too much cheap crap being produced in China, and then just filling up our landfills, bro. And this is just feeding it. Like this is feeding. This because we don't need it. We don't need this crap, bro. Like,
well, what if I told you it was 100% compostable?
It's not. I think personally,
100%.
Personally, also,
yeah, you give
I'm
it
gonna
enough
put this
years.
out there. We got too many playmats.
Yeah, that's
too
true.
Many playmats, bro.
I do. Yeah, everybody.
There's way too many playmats.
You can really
too many playmats.
You can tell the skill of a player by the stack of their playmats.
The
stack of playmats.
I could not, in my lifetime, wear out every playmat that I own playing games on it. Like I could not. Like, it's just not possible. There's too many. And I don't have time to play on all the mats or place to store them. They're just in a pile somewhere. There's too many playmats. So too many playmats. There's backpacks, dude? Okay. If Pokemon makes a backpack for everything, what the heck's the point of that? You telling me you got a backpack for? There's like 4 different events that hand out a backpack this year. It's ridiculous.
Well, they're not handing out the backpack. They're selling the backpack.
Yeah, selling a backpack. But then it's like, what are you doing with the backpacks that don't sell at this particular event?
Throwing them away.
Landfill? Incineration?
I kind of agree, man. I kind of agree.
It's too much
I think
crap,
that's
dude.
just rampant consumerism is out of control. That's not
precisely. But what we need to do as Pokemon fans is stop buying this crap.
That's not going to happen.
Well,
Pokemon fans love
I'm
buying
gonna put
crap.
Well, I'm gonna put it out there. It's just like we don't need this crap.
No, dude.
Like we already collect
cool.
the cards.
No, it's cool, dude. It's cool.
We already collect the cards. The cards are cool. The cards are already how we participate in the rampant consumerism. All right, this is already how we're doing it. We don't need to also extend into Alibaba crap. Okay, which Pokemon is doing. They're just getting random crap customized from like Alibaba in China.
No, you're
just
you're
serving it up to
your
you with this.
perception.
No, it's
And
so
just, like,
cool, bro.
No, and just serving it up to you in the slop trough, and like the little piggies are just yum 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 yum. Now, I would say I personally I think like the deck boxes are kind of neat sometimes, but like also I've got too many, so like a deck box can sometimes, but it's also like it's not that big, right? It's just like a little thing.
I like the deck boxes.
And then to me, my favorite thing to collect from events that I go to now is just the pin.
Yeah.
An enamel pin. Why? Because it is space conscious, and you could just put it on a pin board, and that is a nice memento from an event that is not obnoxious and is not going to like absolutely rot in a landfill somewhere, taking up an obscene amount of space one day. Okay.
Counterpoint.
Like all the jukeboxes that they had for the last World Championship, like the Alibaba jukeboxes, that really got me going.
Counterpoint.
Thinking about the merch.
Andrew?
I didn't start thinking about the merch this critically until the Alibaba jukeboxes came. And then when the Alibaba jukeboxes came, I was like, this is just crazy. Like, we don't need to be doing this.
Counterpoint.
Like, do you really need a Pokemon customized jukebox?
Charizard silhouette on a sweatshirt.
The counterpoint. Oof. That's a big one. It's a big one.
Counterpoint, the Pokemon Internationals logo on a t-shirt.
It's
too much crap.
I kind of agree. I mean, I broadly agree, right? Like, there's so much breaking stuff that they try and get you to buy, but it gets bought like crazy too. That's the thing. To me, the backpacks are what's especially out of control. And like, why does every single event need like 4 different variants of playmats as well? Like, there's the competitor playmat, the store playmat, the top 8 playmat, the champion playmat. It's actually that to me is crazy. Personally.
Well, it's Worlds Light, right? I mean, that's the thing, right? They ported what was special about Worlds, because that was one of the things, right? Competitors had a special playmat, and then you could get the store playmat, and those are different, right? Slight coloration.
I don't know. Like,
top 8
does it need to be
champion?
Does it need to have every element of Worlds? Like, you had to qualify for Worlds. The qualification criteria for this event is being up at the right time to sign up and paying $100. You know?
Yeah. Well,
and I'm not trying to be like elitist about it, where like you have to qualify to win a special playmat. It's just like there's so much stuff, and I started to feel this the other day because I got a dumbbell set for myself because I wanted to do like my physical therapy stuff for my arm at home, and I had to clear out some space in my closet to like put the dumbbell rack in. And what is filling up the space in the freaking closet? Like, piles of Pokemon World stuff, you know, like just piles and piles of it. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, some of this stuff is fine. Like, I'll have 1, 2 backpacks, but do I need all of these backpacks and all of the junk that's in them? Like, it's fun in the moment to get it, and then I don't do anything with it, you know. And I'll sell some of it, like, but even then, what is the person who's buying it doing with it? They're just putting it on a shelf somewhere. I don't know. So I kind of had this moment in the last week too, where I'm like, there's just too much stuff
Just
in the world.
Wait until your house becomes filled with kids crap. That is like,
you're saying your kids' stuff is crap?
No. Oh, a lot of it. Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of it is.
What about that
No,
train
it's just-
set?
Yes.
What about that train set?
No, it just happens,
crap?
bro. You don't realize it, and you say, you start off with all the good intentions, right? I'm gonna buy the, the wooden only toys, right? I'm gonna buy the the Tom and Jerry or whatever that Kate and Susie toys, and then it's like, and then
Melissa and Doug stuff.
Yeah, Melissa and Doug stuff, exactly. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna get all the nice quality toys, and my home is gonna just be filled with only the essentials, right? Because you read all the blogs, and it's like kids only need 5 to 10 toys to really feel stimulated. If they have too many, then they don't actually use it all, and then it just keeps coming in.
It happens.
Well, it's and then grandma buys you a toy, and then grandpa buys you a toy,
friends.
and then you get hand-me-down stuff, and you see something fun like to pacify your child at the thrift store, and it just accumulates.
And that's the thing is, like, we pretty much exclusively buy ours secondhand.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that's all we do is buy secondhand, but it just accumulates, and that's part of the trap is that, and it's great that this stuff does last long enough that it can like last through multiple uses, but like, and we do a lot of reselling too. I mean, now we're at the point where like, dude, like, get a haul of stuff and take it to the baby store, bro, because like we're gonna cash this crap in for $30 and keep that wheel spinning. But I mean, it's in my Pokemon history, I've always been selling stuff off pretty quickly. Because I always lived in small apartments and couldn't really like hoard it very easily anyways, and I was broke, so like that special combination kept me selling off my stuff. But now it's still like I see the merch. I don't know, just like a t-shirt and a pin would be enough.
Not
like
even
the
the t-shirt.
playmat.
The t-shirts always suck. So like,
T-shirts do suck, and t-shirts are overdone, but like, to me, I don't know, when I look back at like the 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007 stuff, like, what's the coolest merch from like those old worlds? If I see like a t-shirt, I'm like, dang, that's fire. But the thing is, it's like now that's too old to even wear, right? So like, I guess the deck boxes are really cool from that era.
I feel like a deck box and a pin. Put a pin in the deck box.
The deck boxes are good. I give
double
gold
deck
stars
box
to
and a
deck
pin.
box.
Double deck box and a
I
pin.
can't
There
hate
you
on the
go.
deck boxes.
I used to be a hater of
you've
double
got
deck
decks.
boxes, but not anymore. Yeah, They're too
You
good.
got decks. Put them in the deck box.
That's what I'm saying. You got loose cards, put them in the deck box.
Put them in the deck
Exactly.
box.
Like there's always utility, and that's like the differentiate, right? There's like some actual utility in the deck box. And throw a pin in there for good measure. You know, it's face conscious, like you said, Andrew.
I've got a pin board and I love it. I
Yeah,
like looking
it's
at my pin
fun.
board.
I
I like
used to
looking at all
collect
the
the
different. I'm like,
pins.
oh yeah, I remember that year I went to X, Y, and Z, and it's all right there. I'm like, that's cool. All right.
But like the
I like the art
t-shirts,
from
I'm
those.
over. The backpacks, I'm especially over ever since they all started being the exact same backpack.
Yes.
Whenever that was. London,
2018.
maybe?
No, really? 20.
No, they had like they had different, like
was 2018.
distinctly different backpacks multiple
They
years
did.
in a row.
No.
You know, like the DC
yeah, London. I guess
one was
London.
very different.
Yeah, I guess London.
I think
yeah,
it was. I
2022?
think it's London is when it started.
Yeah, I mean that
It's
would have
either
been
London or Yokohama.
Well, London would have been a unique backpack in that it was the first of the new.
So let's call it
kind.
Yokohama. Yokohama is when they started doing these backpacks.
Kind of the
and
square
now they give them out.
Basic design.
Yeah, and now they're doing the same ones at UIC. They did it at Everyworld since then. And it was at least a little fun when it was like, okay, this is the DC backpack, and it's kind of got like this like flippy thing, and it's like it's got a cinch instead of a traditional backpack. And
the
that's
DC
fun.
backpack is kind of goated. Yeah, the DC. It's
I
like
don't really
very,
like it personally.
No,
like,
it's cool.
because
It's cool.
I don't think that it works as well.
No, dude, it works great. It's awesome.
But it's fine. I like that it's unique. You know, and I'd rather it be unique than the same like square.
The San Francisco
with the
single,
slash across
single
diagonal.
sling bag, dude.
That's
Yeah,
yours.
Yeah, that's
cool.
great. Like stuff
That's
like
your
that's
jam?
great.
That's fun.
I don't know.
Oh well.
Too
But
much
no,
stuff. That's
it's
my
like, well,
point.
clearly they have the one Alibaba dealer now who is just the best one. I'm telling.
Ever since Andrew unlocked Alibaba, it is.
They
his
have the Barry
vocabulary.
Zhang of backpacks. They have the Barry Zhang of backpacks now, and they've got it figured out. And I'm over it. I'm over the merch, bro.
The
I'm over the
Dongguan
merch.
Berry Pack Co. Backpack Co. Dongguan Berry Backpack.
Somewhere the
Yeah.
TC Evolutions guy is rolling over because of the metal dice that we see here on the image.
Don't even get started on the dice.
I'm just saying. I mean, I
Don't
see
even
them,
get
so
started.
I cannot see the dice without thinking.
Those things
about
kind
it.
of look like candy.
They
You
do.
I know. Don't
Get
give me
that
your
in front of an
face.
infant, they would eat them.
Yeah.
Don't those look mad yummy from here?
They look like little Easter treats.
Exactly. You're telling me you wouldn't eat those? Come on.
I'd try it.
Looks like a Swedish bonbon. Anyway. All right. Let's get it moving, fellas. Mailbag time.
Let's do it.
All right. Comment here from Sandra the Fox. Miraidon and Mega Manectric is the build that I've been going with. We talked extensively last week about how Miraidon sucks. I actually think so. One thing I was thinking about yesterday, I'm like, man, I feel like Psyduck is kind of like low key a decent tech for Toronto, and just the collateral damage that Psyduck, gives to Miraidon is insane. Just not being able to pop your own magnetons. Horrible.
That is pretty insane for sure.
Horrible. So anyway, vote for Andrew to make the uncut gems Marty Supreme of the Pokemon TCG.
Okay.
Now we need to decide who to base it on. So you've been thinking about this, Andrew. I bet you have. So who would you base it on?
Yes.
Tord. I mean, it's got to be Tord, right?
No.
It's not Tord. Okay.
No. See, and this is why.
Well, but okay.
This is why I'm the content genius, JW. It's because you're thinking too simple here. Okay. This is the uncut gems Marty Supreme. It's not about Tord. You need to have someone scrappier, dude. You
Okay.
need to have somebody who's getting into crap. You need to have someone who's getting into drama. You need an underdog for sure,
Okay.
right?
Who is it then?
So like the person doesn't exist yet, which is why the project doesn't exist yet. I need to come into this, but like I have been ready to create something like this for a while. I'm just waiting for the correct person to come into my life, right? because I think that you could do this like this story where you follow an up and coming player for an entire year while they go through it trying to qualify for the World Championships. Preferably, it would be somebody who's never done it before, and it's about that struggle of trying to get your first World Championship invite and all of the different shenanigans you get into on that journey or whatever.
Right.
But Marty wasn't an underdog. He was like Loki the goat.
Yeah, but he was the underdog. He ended up, he was an underdog.
Yeah, I mean,
in
some
other
stuff
areas of
happened.
his life. He was like jobless.
Stuff happened for sure.
Yeah. No, like the
So you're
high
saying
level
somebody
Pokemon
who's
players
willing
have
to
way
go
too
through
much to lose.
unreasonable. You're saying somebody who's going through unreasonable lengths to earn some reward.
Like, think about that time that you were in that other country and you told me the story about,
Yeah.
Allegedly,
all
yes,
that
some
stories
story.
that you've
Yeah,
told me.
the story that I cannot say on a
And
recorded.
that you told me you would
in a
deny
recorded
if I
fashion.
ever brought it up.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I do think that would make a very. If I would have won that tournament, that would have been. I'm honestly the cherry on top, but yeah, that's
But
a good story.
imagine like
That's a good
someone was
story.
there. Imagine someone was there with
Just
like
filming it.
filmmaking capabilities, and you like lost in the finals of that tournament or something. Like, and imagine someone was there with like filmmaking capabilities, filming the entire thing in like a scrappy vlog fashion.
Okay, but also there's like some moral issues if you were there in that situation and just filming and not helping. Okay.
Listen, dude. Well, you're getting into journalism there, dude. You're getting into the ethics of journalism. I mean, that's just like a big question, right?
Oh man.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
big question
guess
when it
so.
comes to journalistic ethics, because you've
Right.
got
Do you
journalists
step
that are
in?
in other
Yep.
countries where people
Yep.
are like starving and going through a lot of different stuff, right? But you still have to cover it, right?
Right.
Yeah, you don't really have to cover some dude suffering for Pokemon.
Well, no, but like they're signing up for it. Ideally,
Yeah, but if
right?
anything,
Yeah.
that's maybe like the ideal person to cover, right? Because you don't feel
Because it's all self-imposed.
It's all self-imposed. Exactly. There's no
Ah,
Right.
maybe there is no moral
okay.
innate moral
hear ya.
compass to help.
right? Because
Or
it's
assist.
not like right. So I've had this idea for a while that I wanted. It's like a documentary, a year-long adventure. It would be called like The Invite or something, and and it's like you following an up-and-coming scrappy player who is like trying to. It's brewing in my brain, but like the person, it would have to be about a very, and the thing is like it can't be fiction, right? So the right person would just have to come along. It'd be the perfect blend of degenerate and talented, and also charismatic. Like, I'm not sure that person exists or will ever come into my life, but if they do, I'm ready. Okay, so like that's kind of. So yeah.
Put out
there you go.
a Google sheet. Get some.
I'm just saying,
responses
it's
from the
not-
community.
Also, like, I'm not in the best life place currently to make that video. So
Mhm.
like, that's something that I'm just gonna, I'm sitting on it.
Right.
And then when like the opportunity arises, we'll capitalize for sure.
Right.
I've got a couple other large scale projects that I've got like coming up way before that one. But if that one ever, that's going to be a thing. Like, dude, freaking Timothy Chalamet, like, dude, the director of Marty Supreme, approached him about this movie in 2018, bro. He started learning ping pong in 2018. Like,
Yep.
that's crazy, dude. Like, you know what I mean? So like these kinds of things, it's like the brewing starts early, like the brewing starts now. And then eventually, like, we'll see, right? But right now I'm looking for, I need to cast somebody. So, we'll see.
Yep. All right. We have
Okay,
a
there we
request. We have a request for an update. Fairfire says, "Hey JW, recalled you were scheduling to dunk on my younger relative, my nephew, at Christmas." And yes, I did. I did dunk on him very hard. And then I did the thing. I did the cool card game player thing where we played with my decks, and then I won, and then we switched decks, and then I also won. So that was really fun. Yeah, so that was.
So you can't even blame the deck.
No, you can't even blame the deck. Although I will say, this story does have a happy ending because the last game that we played was a Gardevoir versus Gholdengo matchup, and I started Lone Ralts, and he was able to get the turn 2, well, his turn 1 knockout with Soul Rock. So he did take a win, a fair win off of me. His first ever Pokemon win was a donk. I don't know what that says about the state of the game, but I'll leave it at that. Let's see. I heard about Uncut Gemstones, wanted to watch it, mistook it for Righteous Gemstones, and watched all of that before realizing it was a different thing completely. See, I don't know what
That's
Righteous
sick.
Gemstones is, but
I don't know what that is either.
yeah, just imagine
Righteous.
signing up for.
It's a comedy drama series.
Imagine for signing up for Uncut Gemstones, this like kind of gritty movie and getting a comedy.
Very interesting.
There you go. Anyway, all right, that's the mailbag. All right, let's hop into our Toronto tier list, fellas. We got Toronto coming up in 2 weeks, and I know everybody's been preparing for it. Riley, you have been doing like an insane amount of prep, which is great to see. Andrew, I'm sure you're plugging away at it as well. Where are you guys at with, what you kind of think are some of the best decks out there? I don't know that there's necessarily much, much dissent if we were to say things like Gholdengo, we're in the top tier. Things like Dragapult, we're in the top tier. Maybe even a Gardevoir variant. I would say a lot of players are thinking, Gardevoir Jellicent is in that top tier. Anything else?
Is the tiers here like performance or play?
Performance, I would say. Because I think Gholdengo's probably
I think
most
the highest end
played,
decks
right?
in the format right now are Gholdengo and Gardevoir. And I would even say that Dragapult is a tier below them in A tier. Because I think Dragapult actually struggles into both of those matchups. So how can you be S tier if you're not good against either of
the other
two
S tier decks. Okay, fair enough. All right.
Do you think it's Guardy Jellicent or Guardy no Jellicent? Which Guardy?
I actually think straight Guardy's better right now. And the reason I think that is the Jellicent does win you some percentage points in the Gholdengo matchups, but the Gholdengos are generally prepared these days to deal with the Frillish Loop. Though it is a pretty reliable strategy. You can generally go for it every game. The bunny is a little more annoying for sure. And then just the rest of the format's kind of prepared for Jellicent. I mean, you look at the rest of these decks on the bottom, and they're all pretty decent in the Jellicent. So I think straight Guardy is the way to play Guardy right now.
So
it's
then let's
a little
get Guardy
faster.
Jellicent out of there.
I mean, I think Guardy Jellicent's still, I don't know. Guardy Jellicent to me is still in the combo for S tier. Maybe it's A tier, but I think straight Guardy's better positioned right now. Because you take a little bit of an L into Gholdengo, but you're better against everything else, in my opinion.
JW, why did you move straight Guardy down?
Well, do we think that straight Gardevoir is? I would say consensus would be, or not consensus, but the general thought is that, kind of along what Riley's saying, is that I think most players would think Gardevoir, Jellicent, and Gholdengo and Dragapult are among our top. We're seeing a lot of results in online tournaments. I feel like I'm hitting those decks pretty much. The only things that I'm hitting on ladder. I'm not necessarily seeing as much.
Well, are we making everybody
discussion
else's
about
tier
Gardevoir.
list, or are we making our tier list?
That's facts.
Because if
That's
we're
facts.
making everybody else's tier list, that's pretty boring, JW. But I'm saying we're making
That is a
our
good
tier
point.
list. So bump
is a good
Guardy
point.
Jelly down to A tier and have some freaking stones, dude.
Okay. All right. You know what? Yeah, I think I will. Okay, then let's go
That
with
sounds
it.
good.
Yeah, I agree with Riley. Riley and I are same 16 for Toronto, and we've both been rocking Gardevoir. So I think, in terms of play rate, it's probably
I also
not
think you
gonna be
gotta,
very high.
with the online
but-
tournaments, you gotta factor as well. Hardly anybody's playing Gardevoir at all.
Yes,
Jellicent
that is
or
true.
not.
That is true.
And so when you look at these results from the online tournaments, they're
not
kind of like
reflective of-
misinformed in two ways, right? Because not only is Guardy not winning these things because nobody's playing Guardy, but also other decks that maybe that are taking like worse matchups than they reasonably should into Guardy are like overperforming as well.
Yeah, that's definitely
which I don't think will be realistic for Toronto, right? Like Guardy's going to be like a 15-20% deck, all variants considered in Toronto. So you're not going to see like the festival leads, topping anything.
Sure. The Alakazams are going to have a hard
the
time.
Alakazams. Yeah, like these decks aren't going to succeed. And I think the Bravery Charm / the Flurmane type variants of Guardy they just play a more straightforward game plan. They typically also have like heavier TM Evo counts, which I like right now. I just think it's a smoother way to play the deck. It like really helps the Dragapult matchup as well, which I still think will be popular. I'm like all in on a non-Jelly Guardy right now.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. Yeah, so I do think Gholdengo is probably the torchbearer for the format, right? This is the
100%.
standard by which every other deck is measured right now. Again, makes sense. You have the one prize board. You're able to really negotiate that early game in a very favorable way. There's a lot of good ways to play the deck. You could play it with the Lopunny. You could play it with TM Evo. You could play it with Picnic Basket. You can play it with, there's a lot of different techs to kind of address the matchups that you're not so comfortable against. And so I feel Gholdengo is just the deck, right? It's also easy to pick up, relatively speaking. You don't need a lot of prep, right? If you're at this 2-week mark heading into Toronto, you don't really know what to do. Pick up a Gholdengo, learn the mirror match, and I think you have a reasonable shot at like a day 2 and potentially a deep run. So I think Gholdengo for me is just kind of that standard bearer that the rest of the format
Gholdengo to me is the head of the format for sure. It's got a good blend of being easy to play but super high reward, and it's not like brainless. I mean, you do got to sequence like every turn with Gholdengo. You got to think through your sequencing, but like when you compare it to the other decks currently tiered, it's certainly easier. Gholdengo, I mean, that's where I put a lot of my energy recently, is just trying to grind out games against Gholdengo and nail down my lines, because I feel like you have to work a lot harder as the deck playing against Gholdengo than you do as the Gholdengo player.
Yeah,
which is 100%. One of the cells of the Gholdengo deck, right? Like,
right, you're putting all the pressure on your opponent, right? You're asking the questions, so
yeah. I'm like, also pragmatically speaking, right? Like you're in round 8, round 9 of day 1. Mm-hmm. You're fatigued. Your opponent's fatigued. Like your opponent's having to like think through their actual plays and like come up with the strategy to win, and you're just like knock out your active. And that's actually, to me, that's a sell of those styles of decks, is
yes,
you kind of benefit from your opponent's fatigue,
Yeah, 100%. And just being able to play at near optimal capacity with a Gholdengo deck is much easier than with a Dragapult deck, for instance, right? Or Charizard deck, or a Gardevoir deck. Any of these other high tier archetypes that require a little bit more thought. So yeah, that's absolutely a buff for the Gholdengo players. Andrew is happy to hear that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, man. And there's a reason why I settled on Gholdengo weeks ago.
Right.
Well, you went on a side quest for a bit there.
I did, just to make sure I wasn't missing anything, because I'm not gonna lie, the Miraidon Stone had not been turned, and I have now turned it and found nothing. So we're back.
That's funny. All right, so
not only had I not tested with Miraidon, but not many. There's not a lot of data out there. And, one of your good friends is like out there preaching the word. You're like, okay, well, out of respect for Jesse,
Well, Jesse, and Jesse, just to add a little bit more to this, like he's blinging that deck out. Like he bought the Rainbow Bosses orders. He bought the full art secret rare Zekrom EX. Like he's going just whole hog.
Jesse is buying cards lately. Yeah,
it's kind of concerning. I gotta talk to him a little bit.
He's on his collector arc.
So with that, world's top 4, I'm like, dude, like just slow down on the spending a little bit. He works in finance, so maybe I shouldn't be so worried, but like put a little bit away, make sure you got a nice savings. Like you could just put a down payment on a house with what you in the Akron area.
One of us. The
D-Gen card player.
If I won Worlds, I don't think I would spend a single cent of it. I think I would just put it all away.
I'm saying, dude.
Okay, but to Jesse's defense, like he's been in the game for so long, and it doesn't even really have a collection. But then he like got into the.
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
With,
and I don't really feel any sort of way. People can do whatever. Like that's not what I would do.
But he's got the collecting bug now, which to me is exciting because it's like there's this whole kind of side of the hobby that you'd not been like kind of associating with at all, and it is fun. It is. But yeah, dude, the blinged out Miraidon deck is gonna go nuts. The 4 rainbow bosses orders that I saw posted on X, yeah.
I don't like the rainbows, man.
Don't say the
rainbows are hot. Don't say.
No, the rainbows are cool. Yeah.
Andrew, you were a day one rainbow hater. You were a day one rainbow hater, Andrew.
For sure. I also had rainbow Pikaroms that I had to play.
Okay, that was kind of its own thing, though.
Me going to buy Pikaroms from Full Grip. The only ones we have are the rainbows. Guess I'm playing those to Denver, baby.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, the Dragapult Dusknoir, I think being an A tier, that feels a little disrespectful to me. Like, in my opinion, that should be an S tier deck because I think
Dragapult is so oppressive to like all the other decks below it, but I think it's unfavored into both of those S tier decks, right? So like.
Yeah, it's tough though, right? Because I think you have like 60-40s into pretty much everything else.
We're correct though. Yeah, that deck sucks.
But you can beat everything, right? Like you're saying,
hypothetically you could beat everything.
Well, no, you're saying you're bad into Gardevoir. I don't think it's much worse than 55-45. Like it's a very slight disadvantage.
I think it's worse than that if they play 2 TM Evo. I think it's significantly worse than that. But like, I think it actually is pretty favored into a lot of the current builds of Gardevoir Jelly. Like people being inspired by the Henry Chow build that are playing like 1 Kirlia, 2 Ralts, and some rare candies. Like Dragapult actually like makes a fool out of those sorts of builds for sure. But the heavier TM Evo, which is kind of like the pre-assumption I'm making with the like heavier straight Guardy builds.
Yeah,
I think that's extremely unfavored for Dragapult.
I'll have to pick.
If the Gardevoir is able to like position their board, I mean, yeah, you're gonna sneak games, of course. Like Badoo will sneak you games in any matchup. That doesn't mean that like you have a good matchup into the deck. Like that might happen.
Is like the ultimate
2 out of 10 games.
It's the ultimate cope deck because like hypothetically you can beat any deck you're sitting across from, and that's the lure of Dragapult is that like I could go turn 1 item lock to board wipe. Like yeah, dude. You could do that to anybody playing anything, really, Sure, man. But that deck also plays like, I don't know, 5 energy or something, and like misses the turn 1 Badoo all the freaking time.
That's why you have Latias, bro.
Dude, I know.
The deck actually does whiff like those early turns a decent amount. Not just the Badoo, but like you whiff the turn 2 Dracloak. You whiff the turn 2 Dracloak. I know this because I just played like 10 games today of Dragapult, and like you whiff the stuff, you whiff the stuff, and yeah, for every game that you like sneak, you also have a game that you whiff, and then you have a game that like is average, so it just kind of evens out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we feel pretty confident with these. Let's put some meta predictions here quickly. Gholdengo, again, feels like that. Like you're getting all the Sarah Lich players. You're getting all the Raging Bull players. I'm thinking like a 20% deck. I think I'm pretty comfortable at 20. Riley, do you want
probably fine.
Weigh in here? Gardevoir feels like a 5% deck with Gardevoir Jellicent being maybe more represented. Maybe like 11?
I think you're
12?
You're more maybe like a 7 on Guardy Jones.
Well, hold on. So I'm looking at Stuttgart. So Gholdengo is 15% of Stuttgart. I'm fine calling 20. Gardevoir is lower in Stuttgart. And honestly, I feel like people are a little cold right now on Guardy. I think both of them are going to be like shooting between.
Well, I think
like
that they
6 to
think
10.
I think they think that the Gholdengo matchup is tough, and it is, right. With straight Gardevoir, you do have a line that's pretty intricate, right? You're like looping the Frillish until you can get enough damage counters to do a TM Devo board wipe. That's not the easiest, and then if you prize something, it gets obviously infinitely harder to come up with a game plan against that. So I do feel like Gholdengo, for the players that haven't grinded the Gardevoir versus Gholdengo match, if you're just playing it, here and there at League or on the ladder, like it's pretty hard. If you know the lines, it's maybe not as scary of a matchup. So that maybe, kind of plays into what you're talking about there with the lower representation, Riley.
I think both of them will shoot between 6 and 10 on day one, personally.
I'll put them both at 7.
You think Jellicent is going to be on par with straight? Because that, to me,
I think Jellicent will be more popular a little bit.
All right, give me
7 and 10.
Give me a 10. Give me a 10. All right, very good.
Sure.
Dragapult Dusknoir.
Probably also 10. 10, 12.
I like a 12. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Charizard. This is a deck I don't really care that much for. It's cool. Like the Dawn variant is cool. You're able to do a lot of similar things, right, to Dusknoir in the sense that you can, really mess up an opponent's side of the field if you're able to rare candy rare candy Dusknoir, get the Charizard out, get the Pidgeot out. Very stable board with a lot of power, hard for the opponent to overcome. But we have some consistency issues in the early game. You're not really able to hide behind Badoo as the Dragapult decks would. You're not able to hide behind Jellicent. So I do think you have some setup liabilities. Where are we putting Charizard, Noctowl, and how do we feel about it heading into Toronto?
It's interesting. There's also a lot of people talking about the freaking Watchtower lately.
The Watchtower, yes.
I think the Watchtower hype is kind of fake. Like, I don't think people are actually playing Watchtower.
No, I think there will be a lot of players playing it, but I don't think any of the informed players.
I think there will be more than like any other event, but I don't think it's like you shouldn't like base your deck choice off of that. Probably.
Yeah.
To me, I also feel like, I don't know if you have this same feeling, but I feel like Charizard Noctowl like it has a bunch of games where it bricks, and then it has a ton of games where it like starts off guns blazing and then just peters out after that. Like it burns all the Noctowls, and like you're able to sneak in a Pidgeot knockout, and all of a sudden the deck can't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
so
the bench space is so tight.
Yeah,
especially in that early
if you
game.
Can't get the area 0.
Yeah.
I think it's like somewhere between A and B. I think it's the better Charizard variant, personally.
Sure, than Charizard Pidgeot. I think one of the main draws from Charizard is that you're getting a solid Gholdengo matchup, right? You're able to play the one prize Chi-Yu, really swing that prize trade in your favor, and then you're just a dark attacker that can one-shot Gardevoir. So, pretty solid there.
I think the real draw of Charizard is it's the best deck at playing like the tech supporters, like namely Briar. It's the best Briar deck, which is the Briar to me is the real counter to Gholdengo, even more than the Chi-Yu. Like,
sure,
they can boss around your Chi-Yu and then like deny your Excel and then you lose. But the Briar is kind of like your ultimate equalizer, right? When they when you have to like inevitably KO like a freaking Soul Rock or something, you can swing the game back in your favor by taking the 3 prizes against the Gholdengo to close the game out.
Sure. So, do we think that the Charizard players are going to be emboldened by results from Stuttgart, or is this kind of thing where we see kind of the pendulum swing back and people that maybe were considering Charizard think, okay, I'm going to get farmed by the Dragapults, and I don't necessarily like kind of the lower end of the tier list spectrum in terms of the amount of detritus that I might have to play against. Where do we think Charizard is at in terms of play rate?
Emboldened, bro. 10% for sure.
Emboldened. The hype is high.
Yeah, dude. I think the hype is high. I think people just like Charizard. I think people like the Wombo combo of the deck. I don't personally enjoy it, but I think that people will see Gholdengo at like a high percentage and be like, oh yeah, I want to play the Charizard. And it's like, I'm Dark type, I beat Guardy. I'm Fire type, I beat Gholdengo. And it's like, that's enough of a feel good to ignore everything else, I think.
All right. I feel comfortable with that. 10%. And on the lower end, maybe of A tier, somewhere in that A to B. Let's talk about the Kangaskhan variants. So we have Kangaskhan Bouffalon. I don't know if you guys have much experience against this deck. There's a few different ways to play it. You could play it just like Kangaskhan Bouffalon. There's also a Kangaskhan Bouffalon that uses Joltik to accelerate. There's Kangaskhan Bouffalon with Crustle that's been gaining some popularity recently in the online scene. And then we have traditional, Mega Absol Kangaskhan box, right? Maybe a couple Cornerstone, try to throw off Gholdengo if they're not playing the Mega Lopunny. Really just leaning into getting out the Absol for a number of your matchups. So do you guys have any thoughts on the Kangaskhan variants? I haven't really played much of the Kangaskhan Bouffalon. There's, again, like I mentioned, maybe 3 different variants you kind of lump under this one heading. But the Mega Absol box seems fine. You're a big basic deck that has inherent draw power through Kangaskhan, which I never dislike. Pretty easy to set up as well. So pretty low maintenance compared to some of these other decks, but not a deck that I'm really considering for Toronto. So where are you guys at with these Kangaskhan variants?
So I think both of them kind of fundamentally have the same problem in that they both suck against Gholdengo. Both of them will have some sort of attempt to answer it in either Crustle or Cornerstone, or maybe going for just like the Ares Rosic thing. But generally speaking, if Gholdengo plays Bunny, which I expect will be the most popular version, although we've talked previously on the cast how that's like certainly not like consensus on the Gholdengo variants. But the Bunny just like completely trashes like all of the techs that these decks are playing. Like the Crustle doesn't work, the Cornerstone doesn't work. The Airy thing is kind of fake anyway. It all feels bad. It all feels bad. And I would even go as far as to say that both of these decks also struggle against Gardevoir, particularly like more straight like Bravery Charm Guardies. If they're able to get like a turn 2 Screamtail, you're cooked. If they just Screamtail onto your Absol, you're cooked.
Sure.
So like I'm not a huge fan of either. I was kind of high on them like a couple weeks ago, and I'm kind of off it. I think they're B tier though. I think they're really good against basically everything else, kind of like Dragapult coded in that way.
Sure.
But yeah, they just really struggle when it counts, in my opinion.
Interesting stuff. Yeah. Any thoughts there, Andrew?
There's ways you can improve it. If you play Shaman and Kangaskhan to dodge the Screamtail allegations, that helps a lot.
Sure.
Helps a tremendous amount.
Sure. Then they're forced to go through your active Kangaskhan. You're reducing that damage. They're healing it off with the monkeys. Yeah, that could be problematic.
Those decks are like one of the many reasons why I would not consider the Miraidon deck, because the Miraidon deck has got like no play versus those. And people like them, especially the Kangaskhan Bouffalon. People just like the concept of your guy taking no damage, and it seems like it's something that people have gravitated towards. Of course, as someone who likes Gholdengo, I got no problem with that. So, yeah, fine.
Okay, I kind of feel these, in that like 4 to 6%, somewhere around there. Honestly, could probably lump these in as a single archetype for the purposes of this tier list, but we'll keep it there for now. Some of the other more interesting decks that I want to make sure that we hit on. Enzorark really has seemed like it's fallen off. Lopunny Dusknoir is a new archetype.
Fraudulent.
I think, I was going to say, I think it's
deck.
probably among the worst
don't
decks
even talk
here.
about it. Nothing to talk about, bro. That deck is trash.
Okay, I kind of also think the same about Ceruledge. That to me
Yep,
is
nothing
like
to talk
Nobody's
about.
even
That deck is
playing Ceruledge anymore.
unplayable filth.
And then we have Enzork. I think there is something to be said for beating Gardevoir, but it's another deck you have no play against Gholdengo, and
you also have no play into an active Diancie with 60 damage on
it. That's true. Yeah, Diancie is a big problem for, and so I was going to say that the Gardevoir variants have new tools now to deal with the dark attackers. So feels like a very C tier deck. Maybe there's some way to break Enzork that I'm not aware of, but at least not until
the thing about Enzork is that it's like, okay, you're building your deck and you have to accommodate for like all these different weaknesses now.
Yep.
Why are you choosing the deck then?
Yep.
It draws a lot of cards, but like at this point you're trying to patch so many holes that like
I feel like if you had Zekrom right now, the deck would have a bit more of a place. Being able to like one shot a Gholdengo with a Mochi or something would be huge. But the fact that you're having to play like Toadscruel or something for the Dango matchup, because that's going to be huge, and you really don't have play into that deck without something like it. You could play Darmanitan, I guess, but I feel like Darmanitan's kind of a fraud. So yeah, it's just no feel good moments for Zoroark right now.
Yeah. I will be placing a Grimmsnarl, my beloved Grimmsnarl, in the C tier. Probably ahead of Enzork, let's be honest, but probably a non-factor for at least Toronto, although the format is like they're with the right metagame, this deck can thrive. I just think there are too many ops. Item lock is a real problem for the deck, and you're looking at Dragapult and Gardevoir both playing some kind of item locking Pokemon. Going to be hard pressed to get through multiple Kangaskhan decks if you happen to play those as well, especially Kangaskhan Bouffalant being able to reduce your already meager damage output. So Grimmsnarl seems a step above things like Lopunny and Ceruledge, but probably not contending for the win. I could honestly see a Grimmsnarl in like top 16, maybe sneak in a top 8, but probably not contending for the win. We have Raging Bolt, Andrew's favorite. This feels like a very solid C, but I don't know. I mean, is there a case to be made for Raging Bolt in this format?
What case?
Present the case, dude.
Well, it's a one shot. It can one shot things, right? That's the whole idea. So you got, you're maybe good in the Kangaskhan decks.
That's true.
When you're like a Gholdengo type deck who's just worse at doing the Gholdengo thing than the Gholdengo deck, then to me that just, even if like Raging Bolt is kind of good for some of the same reasons that Gholdengo is good, like Gholdengo is just better at it than Raging Bolt right now.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. Like, yes, you can still win games. Yes, you could still win online tournaments with Raging Bolt. Like, sure you can. But the problem is Gholdengo can play that single price board state and you cannot. And that's just going to make Gholdengo the better deck, in my opinion. So, like, I don't care if you put it in C or D tier. To me, it's D tier because it's just like, what if we play this worse version of Gholdengo? Like, no, bro, we're not even putting that garbage on the list because that's what Raging Bolt feels like to me right now.
Yeah, it is just kind of like the same deck, but worse. It's also worse at gusting.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. That's just worse. Like, Gholdengo plays like many gust cards. Raging Bolt famously plays like one or two. It's so bad.
Sure. Yeah. All right, Raging Bolt. Nothing much to be said. All right, Charizard Pidgeot. So we were kind of saying that we both, or that we all like Noctowl as the premier partner for Charizard. What about straight, back to basics, Charizard Pidgeot? Are there legs? Do you see a world where just vanilla Charizard does anything?
I mean, I don't think it's like so much worse than Noctowl. I think Noctowl feeds into what Charizard kind of wants to do. And that's what Andrew's saying, right? Of like the combo turns, the stringing together, the Dusknoir, and all these things. But Pidgeot's still fine. Like, I think the sell of Pidgeot, in my opinion, is that you're gonna typically play like a heavier TM Evo type of build, which could make you a little more resilient against Dragapult.
Sure.
Which is going to be your hardest matchup
Sure.
on the screen right
That's
now.
a good point.
So like, now I think it's still unfavored, but you're gonna have your best odds playing like a more traditional Pidgeot variant than a Noctowl variant. Also, I feel like the Noctowl variant is more vulnerable to item lock in general.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't have too much to say on Charizard. I think that deck is kind of cheeks. Alakazam, a same boat. Terrabox, I also feel like is not particularly strong, taking a few decent matchups. But yeah, I kind of just am going to place these into the C tier. Alakazam is going to struggle into the item lock decks. It's going to struggle into decks that can take multiple prizes in a single turn. Things with Monkey Dory. Although you do, I will say, you do get that Battle Cage. Which...
The Battle Cage is so fraudulent.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is, dude, because Gardevoir is going to need to pop a stadium early. So if you can time the Battle Cage correctly.
That's not even necessarily true. And they only need to take like one bonus prize and Iono you, and you lose.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's fair.
So like the Battle Cage is like so fake. Again, Battle Cage wishes it was Path to the Peak, so bad.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just not.
Yeah. So anyway,
not.
These decks kind of represent what we think just the froth of the format is, right? You're going to have 5% Charizard. You're going to have maybe 5% Grim and just kind of filling out the rest. Any final thoughts here? I mean, we're a couple weeks out. Like, any advice to players as they're looking at this tier list, other tier lists that other content creators have made? What is the takeaway of, how this metagame is forming?
Honestly, you could play any deck on this list, and if you've got like a ton of reps with it, you're probably going to do better than switching at this point to a deck that you have less reps with. That's my opinion on it. So like, I would say like lock in on a deck you feel comfortable with, and go from there. But honestly, this metagame, dude, yeah, man, this is kind of like the same stuff we've been looking at for like, what, 5 months.
I mean, is it though? Like, you have Charizard Noctowl, you have Kangaskhan Bouffalant, you have new, tweaks, right, of Gardevoir decks and Gholdengo decks.
That excites you?
Like the little things? Yeah, dude.
Nah, bro, not me.
The minor tweaks.
Would you rather have a format that's like all mega decks and that's like the new format?
No, bro. I want a different format. I want expanded back.
No, you do not want expanded.
Yeah, you don't want expanded. That would be so degenerate.
An expanded adjacent. I want an expanded adjacent. I want an alternate format back. Man, doing that video about expanded today, we used to have it so good. We didn't even know, dude. We had this like
people hated expanded the whole duration of expanded.
People hated expanded.
I don't care what people thought, dude. We had this wonderful just sea.
I think it was nice to have like the break
of unexplored gameplay.
Yeah,
to pour ourselves into.
The kind of like break in the format was nice.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, expanded's not coming back. You made the same call in your video, so
no, it's not coming back, bro.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Andrew. Like the reps feel really important in this format in particular. I made it a goal at the beginning of the season to get to Master Ball rank on the ladder for every format, and heading into a major tournament, and like this is no different. I feel significantly stronger, right, with this deck, and I feel like the reps, the matchups, the lines are much more important to know going into the event. I just think, yeah, if you're unprepared, like you're not going to be able to learn it on the fly. You're not going to be able to learn these matchups on the fly, by and large, is my takeaway. Especially if you're playing a more a more intricate deck, something like a Gardevoir or Dragapult. Like, you're not learning the matchups. You got to know and come in to the matches with a game plan for that matchup.
Yeah, I broadly agree. I mean, all these decks are fine enough on the screen besides the D tier, I guess. Like, you could feasibly get away with the rest of them fine. You could make a day 2, make a deep run with any of these decks. I do think the like S and A tier definitely differentiate themselves and like the top end, but we're not all operating on the top end, right? Like, we're trying to get booster boxes, we're trying to get our cash outs, and like,
That's right.
you can definitely make those runs with any of the decks here. So yeah, I definitely feel like the game in general has just advanced to a state where you just need to like be really solid going into every game, every matchup, and the way you do that is just by having like experience.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Experience with your deck, experience with the format. So
Yeah, and it's
if you're
so
listening
hard.
to this and you're thinking like, what do I do for Toronto? It's not that you just pluck like the deck out of the S tier. It's that you practice whatever deck that you're really resonating with, and that's where you'll do the best.
Yeah, 100%. So that is going to do it. We have one more cast before Toronto Regionals, and so we will answer any questions you have, kind of expand further on how our testing is going heading into that event. If you want to leave a like, a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do that. Leave a comment over on our other podcasting platforms. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, Google, all of that stuff, please make sure to do that. Interact with the cast. If you want to interact with us even more, you can head on over to x.com at Real John Walter for myself, at Smiles with Riles for Riley, and at Enjoy Friend for Andrew, with the cast at Tag Team Pokemon.
Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.